Sam Howell was probably the biggest steal of this draft. And I know that's a bold claim, so of course I'll be backing it up with film. But how is it that the quarterback that I had ranked as my quarterback 1 of this class and projected top 3 pick in this draft before the season started fell all the way to the 5th round of the Washington Commanders? It doesn't quite make sense. So let's look at the film and see exactly what happened as to why he fell, and why he has that talent to be a top 3 pick, and why he has the talent to potentially be the face of the franchise for Washington for many years to come. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? I'm Tyler Coker, and I'm your host for today's episode of Today with Tyler. I hope you enjoy. First, I'll break down why he fell down on draft boards. The first thing you'll notice watching Howell's film is his throwing motion. While it's not quite a Justin Fields type of windup, Howell certainly has a slight windup when he's attacking the mid to deep levels of the field, and that comes due to a very loopy throwing motion. That's something that'll have to be ironed out before he really becomes the face of a franchise for DC. But since he has Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke potentially ahead of him, he'll have plenty of time to limit the build-up to his throws. Another issue that is apparent immediately if you watch a season out of order, as I had to do as I scrounged YouTube for film since it's pretty hard to find college film around here, is that he's very hoppy in the pocket, especially in the Week 9 Wake Forest game. Howell can be seen jumping around in the pocket, which limits his ability to fit tight throws, especially when it's combined with the occasional windup or loopy throwing motion to really make the time from decision to actually executing the throw to be rather large. Although a clear issue against Wake Forest, the lack of foundation was a habit developed over the course of the season, though, rather than a fundamental issue, since he's significantly more settled in the pocket earlier in the season, such as Week 1 against Virginia Tech. Another issue that came up in the Wake Forest game was his eye discipline, as he had kind of grown accustomed to being a one-read then escape the pressure type of offense. Combined with an insecurity in his time to make reads was an apparent lack of anticipation later in the season for Howell, as he could be seen throwing the ball with very little yard after catch ability for his receivers, and sometimes missing them behind altogether. If he wants to be true success at the next level, especially when considering Washington's personnel, he's going to have to become much more anticipatory, and let the physical traits of his targets truly shine. The danger of throwing behind the targets not only is that it eliminates yards after catch, and may increase chances of injury, but it's much easier to intercept a ball that's thrown behind a receiver. If Sam Howell really wants to prove that he's worth more than a 5th round pick, and even to begin to knock on the doors of starting for Washington, he has to quicken up his throwing motion, settle down in the pocket, and begin to throw with a little bit more anticipation, since those were definitely his biggest drawbacks this season. Now, let's see what makes him the steal of the draft. First, we'll start with the trait most often seen on tape, his running ability. Although he isn't going to win any foot races running a 4.8640, which for reference is in between Sam Darnold and Matt Ryan, Howell is an extremely strong runner and proves a challenge to bring down. Not only is he difficult to tackle when you do have a straight shot at him, but that's a rare chance at that since he's subtly elusive, and many defenders left arm tackling him as Howell weaves his way across a broken down pass play. Howell's biggest selling point by far is his deep ball, with many calling him the best deep ball of the class, and Howell is more than willing to go deep. And it's not to his downfall, which is even better. It's reassuring as a Washington fan, since Howell's mindset is directly in between someone like Carson Wentz, who tries to play hero ball, as I broke down in my Carson Wentz breakdown, and he's in between Taylor Heineke, who never really went deep at all. He shows flashes of elite accuracy deep as well, and though he can be seen underthrowing the ball under the last few games of the year, he was often pressured or dropping back while passing due to a really disgusting pocket. With a clean pocket, he is pinpoint accurate, and even under pressure, he still shows flashes of accuracy off balance. His abilities with the deep ball don't end there, however. Howell understands the soft spots of defense, and can be seen directing his receivers into the soft spots when the original play design starts to fall apart. When breaking down Howell, it's unjust not to mention how poor his line play was, which really limited his ability as a true passer, but it demonstrated some important traits in his confidence and pocket presence. When pressured, his accuracy doesn't drop dramatically at all, and Howell can even throw while getting hit on occasion. His accuracy is nearly perfect, and he has limitations solely outside the numbers at 20 plus yards down the field, which can be helped significantly with the roster that's going to be surrounding him in Washington, with a better offensive line and more talented receivers to get more separation. Finally, when Howell is flushed in the pocket, which quite honestly was a lot last year, his eyes tended to keep downfield despite his capabilities on the ground. When most quarterbacks would drop their eyes and take off, especially someone with so much talent on the ground as Howell, he can be seen keeping his eyes on the receivers and working through reads still, all while avoiding pressure. The talent for Howell is undeniable, and he has significantly more to offer than what could be seen in that talentless UNC offense. Sam Howell was a surprise land in the 5th round, but a pleasant one at that. I'll take it as a Washington fan, and I know Washington will take it too, because he is a super talented quarterback who is undeniably physically gifted, but has some executional traits as well. And despite a talentless roster around him and no offensive line help, he really did still impress me with his film this year. So let's look forward to seeing what he can do. And he'll probably have a year until we really see him. But when we do, get ready, because he could very well be facing the franchise for the Washington Commanders as they enter a new era.